nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
That pretty much sums up what my fantasy football week looked like this week. I, the alleged expert, had probably the worst week I have ever had in fantasy football. Hence, my ego is a little bit wounded. So Tuesday, the lose day, 100% true for us today. I went 0-2, got murdered in both of my leagues. Could not make a right decision this week. Honestly, looking at my one team, doesn't matter what I did. I was going to get destroyed no matter what. So we're going to sit here. We're going to talk about what are we going to do to rectify this. We had a couple of injuries hit this weekend. I'm here going to talk to you about what are we going to do about those injuries that may have impacted your fantasy football team, or maybe you can sneak by, pick somebody up to stop your opponent from playing them against you. So, number one, at least I made the right trade last week. I traded Cordero Patterson for Amari Cooper. It didn't work out great for me because all of a sudden it was Cordero Patterson had 35 yards and a touchdown already, and I ended up getting a whole 1 point out of Amari Cooper, who had been putting up points like crazy the last 2 weeks. But the good news is Cordero Patterson went down. Not good news, I should say. Not good news for Cordero. However, good news for fantasy owners because now I'm going to tell you how to rectify it. Obviously, the first name that's going to come to mind, Tyler Algier. Algier is going to be the one that you want to pick up and put in the waiver claim for, but there is a name to watch. There's another name there, and it's not Damian Williams. The other name that you should be looking at is Caleb Huntley. Caleb Huntley is actually the third string back, but he's a bigger back. He's a power back. He's more of a goal line back. I would tell you if you are in a touchdown only league, I would take a look at picking up Caleb Huntley this week, just because he's gonna probably end up being kind of that thunder to the lightning in that ground attack right now for them. Depending on how severely injured Cordero is, I haven't really heard. I haven't really looked into to see if he potentially could come back. They just said placed on IR. They didn't say out for the season, so I'm assuming at this point maybe they don't know if he's coming back or not. But absolutely, you should 100% be looking at Tyler Algier and Caleb Huntley. Next one that you got to kind of take a look at too is Jonathan Taylor is banged up. It's a short week. They play Thursday night. He's got a bum ankle. It doesn't look good. Doesn't sound like he's going to play. If the game was on Sunday, he probably could play, but it doesn't sound like he's going to play on this short week. Hines is the first name to come to mind. But he's got his role, and he's kind of their receiving back. He's kind of the third down back. You should be looking at potentially probably Deion Johnson to kind of handle the heavy load for the Colts this week. Colts are pretty much in desperation mode at this point to try to claw back in it. They are not a good team right now. They lack a quarterback. Matty Ice is just not very good. Global warming hit him and Matty Ice melted. So you need to take a look at what they are and who they are. So you need to get going. Joseph, what up, Joseph? You look different. I tied this week 126. I look different because I don't have a hat on, Joey. I grew my hair out. I used to always kind of buzz it short, and now I just kind of keep it longer. So that's why I look different. And I probably actually shaved this week, which happens about once every 2 weeks. So, Joey, you tied 126, 126. Hey, I would have took that, my friend. I think I scored 38 points in my one league, and I'll tell you my scores. I will always I'll tell you my good, I'll tell you right there, right with my bad. So I had Jalen Hurts. He put up 11 points. This is a very low scoring league. Najee Harris, 2 points. James Robinson, 1 point. Devonta Smith, 1 point. Amari Cooper, 1 point. Oh, I take it back. Devonta Smith had 3 points. Jalen Waddle, 3 points. Justin Tucker was my second leading point getter, 9 points. And then the Vikings defense had 8 points. My bench total had 32 points, and that was with 2 people that didn't even play. So, yeah, struggled a little bit this week. In the other league, the one that we got here with the man hour, I don't want to see ads. I got stomped on 153 to 27. Lot of culprits there too. Again, I'm starting to see a trend here with Joe Mixon and Jonathan Taylor, my first and second round pick. Not looking great. So Jonathan Taylor, 3.3 points, part of the problem. Michael Pittman Jr., 6.1 points. I started the Green Bay defense against the Patriots thinking, backup quarterback. They went down to their third string quarterback, and we didn't even feast on that. So, left quite a few points on the bench. George Pickens, 16 points on the bench. The only good news is at least I did leave Ted Hockenson in. So, good news there. But for the most part, I didn't make any of the right decisions. And that's half the battle, is learning what decisions to make. And I kind of went against my golden rule. I generally try to leave my lineup rather consistent, just because week to week, you know probably what you're going to get with your players at this point. I usually try to leave it up, but like right now, I can't pick 2 of the right running backs to start for my life, which seems to be the case because I left Dameon Pierce and his 17 points sitting on the bench. And I said it last week, though. He was starting to probably take over that lead back role. It's probably his coming out party last week. You saw Miles Sanders kind of step up this week. I've been a huge critic of Miles Sanders. And I still think that he's eventually going to lose that position to Kenneth Gainwell. You saw Kenneth Gainwell was targeted quite a few times around the goal line out of the backfield. Again, I still think that he's probably going to end up being the go-to. He may end up being just the receiving back, though, out of the backfield over Sanders. Sanders might just kind of be their power back. But still, in a PPR league, who's going to be more valuable? A guy that gets you 43 yards a game, or a guy that's going to get you 5 or 6 catches, maybe a touchdown. I mean, he might get 5 or 6 catches and it might only be for 40 yards, but still, that's 5 or 6 points that you didn't get, from somebody with their rushing yards as well. So Drew checking in says, Tori, yes, Drew, how are you, my friend? It's been a long time since I have seen you. I got to talk to you. As I said, I'm usually back now just because my work schedule is rather busy. I'm back now doing fantasy football stuff. You will see me eventually kind of trickle back in. I will probably be here 1 or 2 days a week from here on out, just trying to keep things going. Because one, I want to make sure we all win our fantasy football the leagues. Is there anything more important than fantasy football? But while Drew's here, bruh, Nebraska fired their coach. We fired our coach. So I was actually at the Green Bay Packer game when the announcement, we thought they might announce it at the stadium, but they didn't because we figured the stadium would cheer too loud. But yeah, when the Wisconsin Badgers fired their coach, I'm going to tell you, I couldn't be happier. You should have seen my long rants that I had been on. So Drew, missed you too, brother. So yeah, I'm very happy the Badgers fired their coach. It's now going to basically be a race between Nebraska and Wisconsin to see who can try to get Lance Leipold to sign with them. So, all right. So now, fantasy football questions. What do you guys got? You guys making this easy for me. no questions, no nothing. Granted, I only did post like an hour ago that we were going to go live. Normally we do this on Wednesdays. We did not, but you know, everything I kind of talked about last week about the Detroit Lions. Are you on my train yet? Are you with me? They are the highest scoring team in the NFL, but they also have the worst defense and giving up the most points in the NFL. They have not scored under 35 points yet this season. I'm going to, like, every week for DraftKings, I take Jared Goff, I take Jamal Williams, because one, they're still dirt cheap on there. I took a flyer on Quintez Cephas to see if he would step up over Khalif Raymond. That one didn't pan out so well for me. We're like, I did not see you guys against the Hoosiers because it's Nebraska, and there's only like, I shouldn't say, I hate most every team in the Big Ten East, and in the Big Ten West, the only one I really hate is Minnesota. Nebraska is just kind of our bitch. I'm not going to lie. I mean, we like to hang 70 on them. So I apologize for that. We just kind of use them as our like rebound game. So I really feel bad. But yeah, if you're not on that Detroit Lions bandwagon with all of them right now, I should have probably started and picked Khalif Raymond over his Cephas, but Cephas is a Wisconsin boy. I'm like, okay, he worked his way back from injury. He's a number 4 receiver. He has a chance. You know, in order to make money, sometimes on DraftKings, you got to take a couple of chances. I've done really well taking chances the last few weeks. I've made money, and a lot of it was because I was picking up Detroit Lions players and putting them on the field. I wish I would have took Hockenson again this week too, because he put up major points again. So maybe this week. But eventually that streak's gonna end for me, and I'm gonna have to look for new hot players to pick up when it comes to DraftKings, because guess what? The better they do, the more money they're gonna cost me the next week. So they dropped the price on a lot of those guys because DeAndre Swift was hurt, and then you had Amon-Ra St. Brown was also hurt. So keep an eye on the Detroit Lions. I said it. Jared Goff might have a Jared Goff year. And by that, I mean the year that he really took off and got them to a Super Bowl. I think he's going to be that kind of quarterback, kind of good 1 year, awful for 2 or 3 years, really good, and then awful again. So I will tell you, I don't know if we're going to go live tomorrow again as well, but if you have fantasy football questions, join our fantasy football discussions group. I will try to answer as many questions as I can in there. Sometimes, depending on the question, we will just bring them on the air. We will bring the question on air and answer it here, and I may answer it in the chat there. I do apologize. I don't get to everything because I do not do this full time, so I do have to have my own life. So, but I do try to answer it. Sunday morning, I guarantee you will find me on there answering as many questions as I can. Message the group if you want to. You can just message the group through Facebook Messenger and say, hey, I really want to answer this question. Again, bring good questions. We'll just answer them on air and spread that knowledge for everybody. This is free money, people. Free knowledge is free money. So this is just going to be a quick show tonight, just because it's just me. Buck had a prior engagement, so we couldn't even get together to banter on any of that. So, I appreciate that, Drew. Normally it is me and Buck doing this, and it's kind of us going over it and stuff like that. So, he had family time tonight, so he was not able to join us. And so we did not get to do that. I would like to go live a little bit later this week. Maybe we do go live again tomorrow, just because we got the Thursday night game. We got another London game with the Packers and the Giants. Those injury reports are going to start adding up, and now we're going to have a little bit better idea of where a lot of players are at come tomorrow. Obviously by Friday, we usually have a really good idea. And that's why I usually try to answer stuff on Sunday, like before kickoff starts and everything else like that. That's where I try to really fill you in on, okay, this guy's in, this guy's out. You can tell a lot by the Friday practices. If they don't practice on Friday, chances are they're not going to probably play on Sunday. So hit us up there. Hit me up on Twitter right there. Here. There we go. at manhour_Tori. You can hit me up on Twitter. Again, message the Fantasy Football Discussions group, or you can message us on the Man Hour radio show page as well. So, we try to do this every week. Again, not my full-time gig, so I do have a life that I have to run to and do that. So I don't get to do it all the time, but I do try to make it happen as often as possible. So I'm in this for all of us. I'd rather us all take care of everything and everybody make some money in their fantasy football league. Like, we play for money in our league. I say it's more for fun than anything, because if you finish first or second in our league, doesn't matter. When we have our year-end party, everybody drinks your money anyways, and they just order drinks and shots on it. So you really don't win much. I'm happy if I get done, if I win the league and I walk home with $10 in my pocket. So if you got any questions, let me know. Boys fought hard this week. It's Junior. It's the BCJ, the Brandon Combs Jr. They did. Bailey Zapp played well. He looked really good. Our defense looked awful. Again, no Jair. That kind of hurt. No, not really an excuse though, but Bailey looked good. I'm not going to lie. Was 10 for 15 for like 99 yards and a touchdown. So you can't complain about that. That's the one thing that you need to be sustainable in this NFL. If your quarterback goes down, you better have a dang good backup. And the Patriots are lucky that now that they're 3 deep. So we'll see what happens. That could be a developing situation. Just like you got all these people in Dallas going, Cooper Rush. We don't need Dak. You still need Dak. I'm sorry. Any quarterback can get hot. I mean, ask Patriots fans, Nick Folk. Hoffy steps in, says, get a haircut. Man, you're just mad because I have hair. That is it. You're just mad because I have hair. Plain and simple. Let's get it. Let's get that out of the way. Hoffy can't grow no hair. So I am a little upset that I did not get to go to BCJ's father's wedding this weekend. Brandon Combs, if you didn't know, got married this past weekend. Congratulations to him and Michelle. So I'm a little disappointed I was not able to make it because, I'm a Packer fan and football is more important, and I was going to the Packer game on Sunday. So that took precedent. So if you got anything, hit me up. Let me know. I'll answer whatever questions you got, whether it's trades, PPR, whatever it is, let me know. I will answer it. I try to bring you the best information I have. Everything I go off of, I will look at stats. I look at injuries. I look at, who's that player's third cousin that, might have some info on them. I try to get everything to see what edge I can get for you guys. Drew kicks in, says Michelle deserves sainthood. She does. Anybody that marries a Bear, any kind of Bears fan, deserves sainthood. I mean, just because Bears fans are just the worst. Do I think OBJ is going to go back to the Giants? He was in the building. There's talks of a reunion there. Sterling Shepard's gone for the year. They don't have much for a receiving core. OBJ is probably pretty close to getting ready to go. It could happen. I wouldn't be shocked to see it happen. It's funny because as soon as that happened, they saw articles like Packers looking at OBJ. OBJ has not been to Green Bay. They've not talked to him. It's, but him going back to the Giants could happen. I honestly believe it could happen. They need a receiver. And the Giants have proven me to be a year late. I said that the Giants last year were one of the better teams in the NFC East. I was a year behind apparently. Because I was like, holy crap. They went 4-13 last year. I'm like, I had them going like 11-6. I'm like, well, a little bit wrong there. So, yes, I do think OBJ could go back. And again, that's something right there that's an immediate fantasy impact. If the day he gets signed, you better be putting a waiver claim in. And it doesn't matter who he signs with. Put the waiver claim in. His exit from Cleveland wasn't great. He did not. Everybody kind of thought he was washed up after the Cleveland debacle. Obviously, when he went to the Rams, he played well. You need to put that waiver claim in for OBJ as soon as you can. I will agree with that. If he stays healthy, a short time like that should be good. I mean, he's not Sammy Watkins where it's 3 games and I'm out for the year. So, absolutely, I would still take a chance on him. Again, what does it cost you? Even if he doesn't pan out, it costs you a roster spot for a couple of weeks. Don't do it if you're super thin or if you have a bigger need. Like right now, if you have not looked at Brian Robinson and he is still available in your league, you need to pick Brian Robinson Jr. up. He's coming off IR. He's probably going to end up being the lead back. I still have him on my roster. Still going to be an excellent fantasy player because, again, he was slated to be the starter. Antonio Gibson's just not the same running back he was, 2 years ago. Last year, he kind of started downhill. I liken him a lot to what happened with Alfred Morris. Alfred Morris came on like a gangbuster and all of a sudden just went bloop, and now he's out of the league. Is Dak coming back next week? I don't think so. I think they are going to hold Dak out until he is 100% healthy. Because, again, Cooper Rush has not played bad. He's held the team down. He's gotten wins, and at this point, they're probably like, we're good. Let's not rush it. Let's get back. Make sure you're healthy. Obviously, end of the year, health is a big issue. So if you got time and you can rest your guy because he did have a semi-serious injury, don't rush him back, especially if there's no reason to. Now, if Cooper comes out and just completely goes after this week, you're going to hear everybody and their brother being like, Dak needs to come back. Dak needs to come back. Cooper sucks. It's Dallas fans. We all know how they are. They're still yelling about some kind of catch in Green Bay that wasn't a catch. So they can just sit down on that one. So, all right. Like I said, you got anything that you need, shoot me a message on our fantasy football discussions group. Shoot it to the Man Hour Facebook page or shoot it to me over on Twitter. Any which way you want to do it, I'm good with it. I'm Tori, and I am out.